Welcome to the Doom Scroll News Report here on Radio Taiwan International, where I, Amanda Stevens, and my co-host,
Anna Belinsky,
two writers, political by necessity, cover some of the biggest international news stories dominating our feeds from the last week. I'm Amanda Stevens, and this week we're tackling SpaceX and Anthropic and others going public.
Blech.
And what does that mean even?
What does it mean?
And more updates from the Iran war, the ceasefires that couldn't, and Trump's mounting at-home pressure, which got worse this morning as we record on Friday. And you guys are going to have to look that up because I just cannot be editing this script literally like every 5 minutes, every time that I leave the script alone.
Right.
This week it's been like, okay, and I've got it and I'll leave it alone. And then something changes and I have to go update the script.
True.
So this script is only accurate as of Friday, June 5th. Afternoon on Taiwan. So I did my best here. And so Hannah, how are you this week? How much do you know or follow about stocks? I low-key had a meltdown yesterday trying to read all of these financial papers with words I don't use ever.
I had my meltdown some time ago because I recall talking about the AI bubble before.
We did.
And
We've mentioned this.
Whether there is a bubble, and if there is a bubble,
there be a
what's
bubble?
going to happen,
Yeah.
whatever. So I had my meltdown around that time trying to learn about stocks. And stonks, yes.
We're online. This is a chronically online podcast. That's
So
the whole
true.
point of it.
That is the whole
You
point.
guys are going to hear some memes as we try to cope.
I still feel a little out of my depth, but
Yeah.
because it's been such a huge feature of like the top news headlines these days, I know a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Just a little.
Yeah, I feel like I know basically like what is of the moment. Like I learned what it meant to short a stock.
Yes.
When the GameStop short happened.
This I learned from the 2008 recession, The Big Short. You know, there was a movie.
Yeah,
about
The
that.
Big Short. Yeah.
This I
No,
learned then.
I didn't watch that movie because I was like, it's about stocks. It ain't about me.
But you know what? It's really good. It's really good.
Should I watch it?
Yeah.
Would you
totally.
recommend it?
The only bad thing about the movie is Ryan Gosling has the most horrible dye job you have ever seen. They made him brunette. It looks awful.
No.
But the rest, great. Steve Carell, hilarious.
I guess it is sort of uplifting to know that anyone can look bad with bad hair.
Even Ryan Gosling.
And that should be hopeful because that implies the opposite is also true.
Yes.
If you have good hair,
You can look good.
anyone can look good with good hair. That will eventually be relevant today, and I just want to tease that because we have a third article that Hannah doesn't know about.
Oh, I'm excited.
Hannah doesn't know about this. Okay. So, but before that was for me because before that we are going to talk about stocks. Let's get into SpaceX. SpaceX is going public as soon as next week, the 12th, right around when FIFA starts. There's so many big things happening next week. Who knows? So, number one guy I wouldn't invite to a party, Elon Musk. His company is going public, SpaceX, meaning that's going to be joining the NASDAQ and becoming something that everyday citizens like you and me, Hannah, could buy stock in.
Right.
Woo! Something to clarify, though, up top, which I was learning yesterday. SpaceX, as it is now, is no longer just the rocket company trying to colonize Mars, but they are still trying to do that. Again, we'll circle back to that as well. It also includes the entire Starlink infrastructure and XAI, with the last being the biggest reason that I've seen people are currently talking about it. So, and we're going to mostly focus on the AI part in a minute.
Right.
Currently, it's valued at over $1 trillion, $1.75 trillion to be exact, which is about as much as the U.S. economy. The U.S. GDP. So to put it into perspective, that was from the New York Times. Thank you so much for saying that, because I don't know what those numbers mean. Where is all that money coming from, though, you may ask? Because as you and I constantly harp on, AI doesn't make money. And it still hasn't. Where's the money? Well, before something can go public on the stock market, it has to publish a detailed report about its finances and basically justify both its standing and evaluation. So, to say like why they think that they're worth this much money and how their business has been doing so far. Now, this is great news for us because it finally gives us an in-depth look at one of Musk's company finances. People have been trying to look into it, and they have been doing investigative journaling for a while, but now they had to publish it themselves. Now, How the company got to its mind-boggling $1.75 trillion valuation is, in my opinion, a little suspect. Hannah, how do you think that they got to that number?
So I know the answer. I know you're going to
because you read the script.
No, I knew this before.
You knew it before?
Because I had been doom scrolling.
You are a
about
stock
it.
lady.
Yes, I've become knowledgeable on the stonks. So what they're doing is they're assuming the thing, SpaceX in this case, will deliver on absolutely every mark that they claim they will, which is not very realistic. But yes, please proceed.
Yeah, so that's basically it. And I've been listening to like reporting to try to understand this, and a lot of people have called like real professional news institutions have described this as vibes-based evaluation and vibes-based business. So let me say, but it kind of is, and I hope that will make sense. I actually think that is a good way to describe it, because a lot of it is like this idea of hype and company hype and sort of like media hype that can be built around something.
The bubble is bubbling.
We'll see. So that financial report is how we learned about the company, and that SpaceX, the rocket thing, has been losing money. New York Times' Ryan Mack reports that, according to this report, Starlink is the big SpaceX moneymaker. So the thing is that the company SpaceX, which is going to be going up in the NASDAQ, actually is 3 parts. They call it like a 3-engine model.
Okay.
Right? And that includes Starlink, SpaceX, and XAI.
Right.
Each of these are 3 separate companies that have 3 different businesses and 3 different business models you have to account for. Jeez. That's what I'm going to get into now. You cannot invest in one of them without investing in the other. Okay. They're all like stuck together, but they're not the same business.
Okay.
So
go on.
Starlink is the big SpaceX money maker. And this actually is not a surprise, because it is now responsible for the most orbital launches per year than any other capable entity, meaning like than any other private organization or government program. But that's not how the company reached its $1 trillion. That came about because they're basically, as you said, measuring the worth of succeeding their promised goals, which include putting people on Mars one day or building factories on the moon and AI data centers in space, which are all real things that Musk wants to do with SpaceX. I'm saying SpaceX so much in this. It's like losing all meaning to me.
He's obsessed with the letter X. He can't let go of this letter X.
Yes. So these are all real things that he wants to do with SpaceX. I kind of think of it as like someone back in the day who's trying to get you to invest in a literal gold mine. You haven't seen any gold, but they promise you that they've hit the mother lode.
I'm telling you, there's gold.
And if you invest right now and help them open up the mine, then in the future, when they successfully get to the $1.75 trillion worth of gold,
you will get 1 nugget.
You will get a lot of money and they'll be a trillionaire.
Right.
So that's sort of like the vibes based of it all.
Sure, Jan.
Now, in the company's favor, the New York Times does point out that Musk has a surprising history of turning profits from losses. And as much as I dislike him, this is true. He has done this several times. I would also point out that like he did do this with XAI, technically by like acquiring it through SpaceX. Right? But there's still no way just yet to see whether or not this will be the case with this new SpaceX.
Right.
Especially because when you look at the evaluation on Forbes, for example, it will show you that of the 3 companies that now make up SpaceX, Starlink, XAI, and actually SpaceX, only Starlink has made a profit in the last year. Also, if you compare it to the other companies that are valued at over $1 trillion, because there are multiple, they are all very profitable by comparison. A Forbes explainer showed that NVIDIA and Amazon earned about $130 billion and $638 billion in revenue last year, respectively. By comparison, SpaceX earned only $18.7 billion. So I'll say it's not impossible for SpaceX to make good on their valuation. But
we shall see.
To me, it sort of seems like that same kind of bluster that got us like the Cybertruck.
Right.
And I literally just keep seeing like a prospector that's like, you gotta believe me. So what do you think, Hannah? Will you take a chance on this stock?
Oh, you are looking at a person who will never have
we both
the
don't
knowledge, the courage, or the capital, most importantly, to play the stock market. You know, a part of me does wish I was one of those people, because According to this article I read by CNBC released just Thursday, it was luck and savvy with the stock market that created 2 million more new millionaires in the world last year. That's like a 7.9% increase. So there's 25.3 million people in the world who are now millionaires. And
That's
sadly,
so many numbers.
I am not one of those
We're
people.
not one of them. I'm not one of them.
I'll be lucky. I'll be lucky if I have anything in this godforsaken world besides
your son,
love and friendship or whatever. You know?
Yeah. I got 2 cats. I got a nice boyfriend. I got a roof over my head.
All that crap money can't buy.
I'm grateful. That's what they say. They can't take that from me. At least I'm grateful.
Maybe.
Most of the time. So now there is even more to this story at the very top. You noticed I mentioned a couple more companies. And also, like, I can't really get further into, like, the stocky talk because
we just don't know that much.
I don't know that much. And this literally took me hours to write that first part.
Yeah.
So moving on to, like, where this is sort of going. On Monday, everybody's, like, AI good guy, Anthropic, announced that it, too, was going public, which means that OpenAI is also likely to go public. And did I mention that Alphabet, the Meta to Google's Facebook, is putting shares on the market for the first time in forever to raise money for its AI? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 AI companies.
Yeah.
Now, all of this has revised discussion about the even more real possibility of the AI bubble.
It's looking very .com-ish.
To be fair, there are a lot of similarities, like we've discussed before, to that .com bubble. And the .com bubble, quick recap, was driven by an internet craze and speculative companies making outlandish claims of phenomenal profits, all while not really having a profitable business or a business at all to back it up.
Yeah.
Now, on one hand, this does seem to be what SpaceX is doing with its Trust Me Bruh investment pitch. But some people are pointing out that unlike the .com bubble, these 3 companies, if we don't include Alphabet because they also have Google, they do have a business model and reliable partners, at least somewhat. Anthropic, for example, is becoming the go-to for business AI models. XAI has DoD contracts and a partnership with Anthropic. And other sources believe that this won't be a .com bubble situation, but may signal or cause a market correction in the next year or so, which basically means like the stocks will kind of even out.
Right.
And this would be a reflection of like the stock market in general putting too many eggs in the AI basket.
Yep.
So what do you make of all of this now, Hannah, that so many companies are now rushing to go public on the stock market? Is it a sign of things to come, an impending bubble, or just a bunch of broke companies looking for any way to raise capital for their vastly expensive AI horse pulling their wagon?
I do tentatively think that the bubble is bubbling. I don't think it's going to like blow dramatically. It's not like the
going to be like
market bubble of 2008. But it's probably going to correct. And while I don't believe AI is going to go away, going public is going to reflect the true value of these companies that are currently very overvalued, as we were discussing. And it's also, I think it's going to mean that the free and affordable tiers for AI usage are about to become a lot more limited. And basically, if you have built your workflow around AI but can't afford to pay for the tokens to continue using it to the extent that you have, you are about to have to start using your good old-fashioned brain again, and that's just too bad. So sad.
Maybe just give yourself an AI budget for the future if you're using it that much.
Good luck. I'm sure you've gotten very lazy in that time. Not you. Is it you general? You know what I mean? I know you don't use it, but there are people who are
there are people, there are companies. It's true. It's true. Well, I think we'll just have to see. It will be interesting either way.
Yeah.
I will say, I think there is sort of a good aspect to this, which is like it's finally giving people, like everyday people, an opportunity to maybe get on the train, but also like actually invest into whether or not they think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Like in a real way. All right, let's get back to the Iran war and some updates. 3 kind of interrelated updates while things are rapidly changing.
Yes.
So the biggest story at the end of this week right now is that Lebanon and Israel have agreed to a sort of ceasefire, a sort of extension of their ceasefire. Now, weren't they already in a ceasefire? Yes, they were. Despite that supposed agreement, though, fighting between Hezbollah and Israeli military in Lebanon has continued basically since that agreement was struck in April. And this deal
don't mean anything, I guess.
This deal, which was announced June 4th, is potentially clutch, though, for several reasons still.
Okay.
Firstly, Israel announced 3 days before this that it was going to attack Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, as retaliation for Hezbollah-launched attacks.
Big sigh.
Yes. This deal basically protects Beirut from that attack if Hezbollah ceases their attacks. However, it also sets up a deal with the Lebanese military that they'll be working to basically create Hezbollah-free zones in the country. It should be noted now that Hezbollah, which was not involved in the negotiation, did reject the deal within 24 hours that it was announced. However, it is also potentially important because it means that possibly a roadblock to a longer U.S.-Iran ceasefire and eventual end to the war has been removed if it sticks, as Iran maintains that any ceasefire agreement struck must include Lebanon. This is a huge point of contention between Bibi Netanyahu and Trump, as Trump desperately wants out of the war. And Netanyahu, we've said what we think he wants, but at least on paper, he wants to keep fighting until Hezbollah is disbanded, which would be a much longer and more protracted fight.
Right.
So, Hannah, do you think that this ceasefire will stick this time? And is it actually good news or essentially just noise?
I mean, it's better noise, but it's still noise, right? Because why are we doing this to begin with? You know, this never should have been happening. You know, why are we here? Why are we here?
And I mean, I will say, I am going to be pointing some fingers and being like, what do these words even mean?
Yeah.
For what it's worth, at least in Lebanon versus Israel, even though fighting has not ceased during the ceasefire agreement period, it is less than it was.
It's a little bit better. What does it really mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
So let's turn our gaze back to some other people here. So Trump is probably pretty happy to hear about this, regardless of how it's going to shake out, because according to reporting at Axios and the BBC, and many other people have now covered it, half a day before the ceasefire was announced, he had a phone call where he called Netanyahu, quote, effing crazy, end quote. He later confirmed that he did say that to the Israeli leader. And to be honest, I can't blame him. He's under a lot of pressure, especially because it seems like Congress may finally be ready to turn on him.
Maybe.
It only took a year for a performative action, Hannah. This is fine. This is good.
God.
Just yesterday, the House voted to adopt the War Powers Resolution.
Yeah.
You know, that thing that we talked about before where Trump has to stop military action after 60 days or get congressional approval.
I am familiar.
Well, it's been over 100 days. And it seems that the economic pressure has finally come around. While the measure at the House is surprising, it can't really do much because it's the lower house.
Right.
It's a symbolic vote more than anything.
Right.
Much less symbolic, though, is the exact same measure circulating through the upper house or the Senate right now. And that was advanced in May, but it has yet to be voted on. All of this is a sign that, at least in some ways, the walls are closing in for President Trump, at least in matters of the war. And for his part, Trump seems eager to appear near the end of the conflict, even promising that the end could come as soon as the weekend before the vote. However, that seems unlikely as Iran continues to insist that, quote, there's no tangible progress, end quote, in talks, and the two of them continue to trade blows back and forth. This is also sort of maybe why he called Netanyahu effing crazy, because they were discussing Lebanon.
Right.
Hannah, I have to ask you again, do you think that there's any teeth to this legislation? Is this a sign of things to come? This is sort of the question I've just been asking you all day.
You know, it's very hard to say. I feel we are set back even further by the fact that I believe the current leader of Iran has announced recently that he's going to be stepping down in favor of, I think, the military leadership taking over. And
it's just everything happened so fast. I didn't even see this.
They're going to take a more aggressive stance on the war. So I don't know if anything means anything. I don't even know if I believe Trump yelled at Bibi, although it's a really hilarious image to think about, because it seems like something that he would tell the press when the reality could be that he continued to let Netanyahu walk all over him, and he can't admit to that, so he has to make a show of having put him in his place. So, I mean, it really goes to show just how obfuscated everything is now that I just don't buy anything. Not the funny things, not the good news, not the bad news. I'm just waiting to see how it all shakes out, because it really seems to have spiraled out of control. And both of the aggressors, all of the aggressors, are in some way motivated to keep this a protracted war. And Trump is probably the worst diplomat we could possibly have for a president. Like, no matter what you think of him, like, even if you like him, even people who like him can generally admit he's no diplomat.
No.
So it feels like there's no chance for like successful mediation right now. So I'm doomer about it, man. I'm feeling doomer.
Well, let's get one quick pick-me-up right after a little break, because we both need it.
Yes, please.
Without knowing anything about what I've seen, because I literally didn't think this was a real story, and then it just broke this morning. When was the last time that you saw an animal lookalike, and like preferably of like a public figure?
Oh man, that's hard. I'm sure I could think of something given more time. Mostly recently, I've just been watching videos of like primates nursing their babies and thinking, my God,
you're like,
it looks
wow,
just like me.
I feel so similar.
That's literally
I feel so
me and my
seen.
son.
Yeah.
That's that. But you know, we're not public figures. But like in my mind, I'm like, wow,
we're minor public figures.
I am an ape.
I am the same. I see myself in you. It's like a Tarzan moment. You put your hands together and you're like, you too, babe.
Yeah.
So recently,
Okay.
in Bangladesh, a new sensation has been drawing crowds to the National Zoo. Visitors have been pressed up against the fence, filming with their phones, parents holding their small children like up in the air to get a better view. People are pampering this animal. They're brushing its luscious hair. They're hosing it down with water and have fans blowing on it to keep it safe. It's like very beloved. I want you to click on the link.
Good God. That's Donald Trump.
It's so there's a buffalo that's been named Donald Trump.
It's uncanny.
In the Bangladesh Zoo. It's an albino buffalo that has blonde hair that is like swooped over to one side.
Wow.
And very pink skin.
Oh my God.
I saw this first as like, I thought it was a clickbait thing. AP also covered it. They have quotes here from people at the zoo saying, quote, just as Donald Trump has a distinctive personality and lifestyle, this buffalo, after going viral, is now living a similar kind of life, enjoying a lot of special attention and treatment.
Oh my God.
End quote.
I love this part. It says the animal was originally meant to be slaughtered for the Muslim festival of sacrifice. Yeah. But because
he was saved by his beautiful hair, his distinctive looks.
Oh my God, that is funny.
Yeah. So local media reported that the exhibit initially did have a sign that said Donald Trump, but it's been removed now. And the zoo curator was fired Saturday, which is too bad. They haven't said why. I could give you one guess.
Oh, justice
but
for this
the
curator.
animal is still living it up. Again, he's living in a zoo now, so that's great. Final thoughts.
I love that. You know,
Yeah.
I needed this. We all needed this. I mean,
I hope everybody else looks it up. Look up Donald Trump buffalo.
Loved that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Babe. We had to give.
It's like Babe. Oh my God, you're right. It's so much like
somebody get a spider. It's some cow, some bull. I guess
that's some bull. Man, is that
that is some?
That's
bull.
how I feel about
I'll
the
tell you
media.
what,
Yeah. And that's all for today's news report. I want to end on that.
Yeah.
Quick reminder that you can find all of our referenced articles in the show notes for today's episode. I'm Amanda Stevens.
I'm Hanna Valinsky.
And thanks for joining us on air today. Tune in tomorrow for more programs by Radio Taiwan International. And in the meantime, remember to stop scrolling and touch grass.
Perhaps eat grass. Moo.
We'll see you next week. You're listening to Radio Taiwan International.